Hello, I am FedoraG4mer, and it's time for another episode of Is It Fun? Today we will be taking a look at Thomas Was Alone by Mike Bithell. This is pretty much his claim to fame. It's the only game he has released that I know of, and it has gotten a considerable amount of attention since it released, but we are going to look at it and see and answer the question, is it fun? I will warn you, there is spoilers in this video. There's no real way around it since the story continues every single level. So if you don't want to see spoilers, you probably shouldn't be watching this video. Okay, we are going to get right into it, and you will see right away, or hear right away, what sets this game apart.
Thomas had a new theory. The world was training him. He could feel himself getting smarter. There was the mental list to consider. Over the minutes and seconds since his spontaneous generation, he'd become a pretty skilled jumper. He was evolving. He just wished he had someone to share it with.
Alright, and that is some of the wonderful narrative there is in this game. You will get some of that, as far as I know so far, at the beginning of every level. As you can see, it's a very minimalistic game. The main character, Thomas, is a colored rectangle. Probably the most visually boring character I've ever seen in any game. I love the lighting effect, though. The shadow Thomas casts, and I don't know what's moving over there to cause that shadow, but as you see, it's clearly a platformer. And as you see a lot in the indie world, puzzle platformers are very prevalent. So far, that was slow on the button there. So far, it's not a very challenging platformer, but I am still very early in the game. I've played the first few levels, is about it. It does get quite a bit more interesting. But from an aesthetic standpoint, the art style is very, very minimal, very much so, but not in really a bad way. Before this game, I don't think I would have ever considered just a block for a character to be a good thing. But yeah, it's definitely unique in that way. I'll be honest, gameplay-wise, it's good. It's not great, but it's good. You get to the end that's shaped like you and get to it. Okay, I'll be quiet for 1 second while you hear the next narrative.
Chris took an immediate and deep dislike to the skinny red rectangle. Who the hell did this Thomas think he was?
And it's introducing our character and a new mechanic of switching between the characters, which you do with the shoulder buttons. I am playing with the Xbox 360 controller. It does have keyboard controls, but as I always say with platformers, they need to be played with a gamepad, in my opinion. This one's quite simple. You have to get to the exits that are shaped like the characters. And this guy, the little chubby cube, can't jump as high as Thomas, so you have to use Thomas as a jumping board.
Chris had been doing fine. He wasn't the highest jumper, but he'd held his own. He'd even been graceful at times. Not technically graceful. It's probably the wrong word, but you know, fine. There was that skinny little runt leaping about like he owned the place.
Okay, narrative cut me off there, but as you see, Chris the Cube quite clearly has some self-esteem issues. Now, I'll be honest, when I first saw a screenshot of this game, I thought, wow, that looks pretty horribly boring. And as you see, Chris can't get up there, so we will switch over to Thomas. But don't judge a book by its cover with it, like this game, not at all. I'll be honest, visually, it's minimal, and gameplay-wise, it's nothing thrilling. It's a puzzle platformer. There are some more interesting mechanics later on. This isn't all there is to it. But, it's not groundbreaking as far as puzzle platforms go. But the narrative is what really makes this game stand out. It's what makes this game so much more than what it appears visually. The narrative somehow manages to give an insane amount of depth to the most visually shallow characters I've ever seen in a video game. I mean, you actually start really connecting with these cubes, these just colored rectangles for characters. I mean, their only animation is they squeeze a little bit when they jump, squish. And you really start getting attached to these very minimalistic visually characters. It's some kind of indie voodoo I didn't think was possible. And the voice acting is it's pretty amazing. I mean, British accent, you're gonna win anytime you have a British accent anyway, but the narrative really drives this game.
Okay, this was more like it. A glowy white thing. Only Chris could get to it, which of course made it all the more enticing. What would it do? What new opportunity might this switch open up to him?
And as you see, Chris is the shorter of the two, so there will be areas only Chris can get into, so he's not just a chubby little cube that can't jump very well. Make some stairs.
Great, great. Another chance for Thomas to jump slightly higher than Chris. How fortunate. Seriously, this made the whole switch pressing thing entirely worthwhile.
It's quite hilarious. Okay, we need to get Chris up there first, it would appear. Oh, I'm gonna have to use Thomas for every one of these, I think. Play some leapfrog. Some cube leapfrog going on here. As you can see, the different characteristics of the different very plain looking cube characters get used in quite interesting ways, how they interact and synergize with each other, even if the characters don't seem to like that yet.
Was this good? Because on the surface it did not seem good. Chris was pretty scared. Little Red seemed fine, happy to be on his merry little adventure. Chris couldn't shake the feeling that things had taken a significant turn for the worse since Thomas had joined him.
Oh, quit whining.
Sure, he'd been able to piggyback his way to ever so slightly higher platforms, but where had that got him? Well, to ever so slightly higher platforms, which was sort of his point.
Oh god, I love the narrative. It's so great. This game proves beyond a shadow of a doubt. Okay, now, even with Thomas, Chris can't jump high enough, so I gotta use Chris as the jumping board. Oh, ooh, okay. We're falling now. Anyway, this game proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that graphics and, to some extent, the gameplay don't mean as much as people seem to think they do. A great narrative, a great story can make a game, and it very much does in this game. This game is an experience. An experience you should try. I'm going to go out and say it right now. This game is fun. This game is amazing. Nope, missed that jump a little bit. The narrative, it makes you want to get to the next level just so you can hear the next bit of voice acting, the next bit of the narrative. It is the constant carrot on a stick that you want to continue. You want to hear the amazing British accent and the very clever dialogue. There we go. And you just constantly always want to continue to get more of that. And more of it we have.
Chris stared at Thomas with pure hatred. He seemed so very happy at their situation. Friends together, a brave fellowship of quadrilaterals on a quest for greatness. That would be fine. But it was all the obvious observation that Thomas was doing which grated. Every time they saw something vaguely new, Chris would hear a satisfied little from the vaulting idiot. He hoped the next portal would split them up, if only for a few levels.
I kept almost talking there, and then the narrative would keep cutting me off. Chris, you need to just get over it already, buddy. Okay, we're gonna need Chris here. I have seen a few people describe this game as pretentious and hipster, and I have one thing to say to those people: you have no soul. Like, seriously, you have no taste in games. This game is quite amazing. Get on the moving platform. It's not pretentious at all. I don't know where people get this. In hipster, sure, maybe a little, but not in the bad hipster way. Okay, let's get Tubby down there. That's probably not good for his self-esteem to call him Tubby. Okay, that's not working. It does start getting a little more interesting, take a little more thinking. Bet I can jump that normally with Thomas. Yeah, easy. What am I doing? So I just need to use Thomas to get Chris across here. And Chris can go down there. Alright. Well, they are splitting up, you know. Chris is taking the low ground, Thomas will take the high ground because Thomas can't get down here. The storyline, it's interesting. I haven't really caught on to all that's going on. It has something to do with these are AI. I do remember Mike Bithell saying in a tweet it's some kind of, it's actually his take on a creation theory. But, oh, can I make it? Okay, I can make it. But it's pretty much has to do with some computer program is what they're in. They are AI components, something like that. Very interesting, and I don't know if I will completely understand it even by the end of it. Alright, get some more narrative.
John knew. He knew that this was his chance. A moment to shine. This was game day.
Alright, and now we have a third rectangle character. That's the line from Tetris, clearly. Let's see. I know Chris can't jump that high, so I'm going to go like this. And then... Can't jump when there's someone on your head. Let's see. Alright. Jump up there. Just get close to the edge. Then switch back. There we go. You don't need to be completely in line with the exit points,
This
as you can see.
would not do. John needed room to show off his exceptional skills. As it was, he was trapped on the wrong side of these little dot things.
Little dot
Where did they
things.
come from, anyway?
God, the character depth of this game is amazing. How can you give such great depth of character to such visually shallow characters, blocks, Legos, Tetris pieces, whatever you want to call these things? Like, I just don't want to stop playing it. I want to get to the next narrative, but I don't think I want to keep spoiling the wonderful narrative for you guys. So I will probably end this video now. This was Thomas Was Alone by Mike Bithell. It is absolutely a fun game. You should pick this game up. It's going to be looked back as a indie classic, I guarantee it. I have been FedoraG4mer. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.